Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back looking at another UFC fight night. This time, not in the Apex once again. I've noticed less and less Apex, and it makes me happy, but I know it's looming in the corner. We have UFC Louisville, Kentucky at the Yum Yum Center. I drove by there on my way to Nashville almost a year ago now, and I thought, was there really a UFC event there? And now they do. But yes, we're going to be looking at Jared Cannonier taking on Nazarene Imavov. This is a decent card, actually. Believe it or not, I'm going to be strict with you. I think it's probably going to end up being better than 302 was, to be honest with you. Like, there are more matchups here that I think are more prone to a finish. If you watch my breakdown video for 302, I call the majority of those to be decisions, to be honest with you. But yes. We're going to have the first fight night, which is going to be Ryan Dos Santos versus Puja Tomar. This fight is okay. It's an okay fight. It's going to be a fun fight, I feel, to watch, but my gripes with the fight is, good lord, how the hell are you going to bet this? How the hell are you going to bet this? Both fighters are decent, but not super decent. Amanda is indeed a fighter. Meanwhile, Tomar is going to be one of the first Indian fighters I believe we have, and she's pretty much spent her majority of her career taking on random absolute nobodies who are not very good, to be honest with you. So it's not very indicative of her skill set, to be honest with you. And Ryan Dos Santos has had quite a bit of losses, to be honest with you. The main reason why this fight should be fun is because both will throw down. Both absolutely would like to stand and bang with each other, so that's something I would like to see. Lots of finishes from both of them, not a ton of decisions. So yeah. Who do I think's gonna win? It's hard. This is one of the ones where honestly you just want to look at the odds and probably go with the underdog, to be honest with you. Who did I pick? I picked Amanda by decision. Amanda. Did they swap this fight on me? They swapped this fight on me, didn't they? No. Here's a different name. In other cases, I went with Dos Santos by... I'm gonna go Dos Santos by submission. And now the next fight is going to be Kobe Stammen versus Taylor LaPluisse. I think this is also pretty much the same thing as the last fight. It's going to be very difficult to bet on this fight, but I think this should be a decently fun fight. My only problem is both guys are decision guys, so unlike the last fight, I highly doubt it's probably going to end in a finish, to be honest with you. I believe Cody Stammen has well over double digits decisions. Oh god, yes, he has 12. He has 12 decisions. Both guys coming off losses. Cody Stammen coming off loss to Dan Andrade, and then LaPluisse coming off a loss to Farid Basharat. Of the two, Farid Basharat is a much better person to have a loss against, but I just think Taylor LaPluisse was just going to use his range and bully him from distance. He has a massive reach advantage that I think Cody Stammen is not really going to be able to handle, and I think LaPluisse's decision is going to be a pretty solid bet. And then Eduarda Moura versus Denise Gomes. Another women's MMA fight where I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be a decision. Across the two of them, they have 3 decisions. I know a lot of women's MMA fights, we pick decisions and they fit. They always fit. The overs always hit for them. In these cases, no. Denise Gomes hits like a freaking truck. 6 knockouts to her name, coming off a loss to Angela Hill where she got decision, but beyond that she beat the crap out of Bruna Brazil and Yasmin Yadiguay. She definitely is an absolute tank. And then Eduarda Moura is coming off that absolute beatdown of Monterrey Ruiz. So I think they're really gonna go for it. Again, it's one that I don't think you're gonna be better off betting, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Moira by submission. I have a feeling she could get the submission on Denise Gomes just because her ground game does not seem very good, to be perfectly honest with you. And I do like the submission game of Moira. So yeah, but this is a hard fight to pick. Don't bet it. John Castaneda versus Daniel Marcos. I'm not a fan of this fight. I don't know. This fight, when I looked at this fight, I just kind of thought it was a fight kind of thrown out there, to be honest with you. Like, the other 3 fights I think are pretty fun fights, to be honest with you. Have chances of being fun fights, but this one I don't know. Don't really care much for it. I'm not a big fan of Sexy Mexy. But yeah, I think Daniel Marcos is probably the better fighter overall, having a really, really good knockout ratio and having, I just think, overall the better striking game than John Castaneda. I know Castaneda has a reach advantage, but I don't think it's enough. I think we're going to see Daniel Marcos just piece him apart. I like his leg kicks. I think he's pretty solid. I just don't think this fight, though, is going to end in a... I think this fight... Ugh. See, now I'm kind of leaning towards John Castaneda because I did not like how Daniel Marcos fought in the Ori fight, to be honest with you. I know it wasn't a long fight, but still... And the split decision to Davy Grant. Who's the underdog? Castaneda is the underdog. I'm going to go with the favorite. I was leaning towards Marcos. Something in my brain wanted to have me shift to Castaneda, but I'm leaning towards Marcos. I'm leaning towards Marcos by decision just because I don't think either guy is going to be able to finish the other. They're both too tanky. They're both too durable, and they're both too tough. But I definitely think they're going to be swinging down, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Meh. Now, here's a fight that it's a good bet, but also I don't care for this fight at all. Brad Katona is going to be taking on Jesse Butler. Jesse Butler, he hasn't had a fight since the Miller loss, has he? No, that was his debut. That was a year ago, and he got absolutely butchered, knocked out by good old Jim Miller. Yeah, Brad Katona, I know he's not going to get a title. I don't think he's going to get title shot, maybe even get ranked, to be honest with you. But I definitely think that Brad Katona is going to be able to beat the crap out of Jesse Butler. Especially Jesse Butler that's moving down 2 weight classes. Yes, he fought at lightweight against Miller. And now he's going down to bantamweight. You skipped featherweight. I know he fought featherweight way back in the day, but still... Brad Katona is a pit bull. He is dangerous. The only problem is he isn't dangerous in the sense of finishing. But he will definitely wear on you. He'll definitely go at you for the full 15 minutes. Homie's seen a decision in all of his fights since 2021. Other than that, it's just nothing but decisions. And I feel decisions very likely here. I know Jesse Butler is very susceptible to getting finished. Not very susceptible. He's been knocked out twice, but... And Jim Miller hits hard, so I don't know. Whatever the case is, I think Brad Katona is an easy pick. He's a massive favorite, I'm going to assume. Yeah, never mind what I said about this. Should be an easy bet. Don't bet this fight. He's minus 625. No. How about no? I'm going to assume when the props come out, him to win by decision is probably not going to be very good, to be honest with you, but... Yeah, give me Brad Katona by decision. But if the odds are good to get him by decision, then take it. But I'm talking good. I mean, if it's somewhere... what am I saying? It's not going to be anywhere in the minus 100s. Next fight is going to be Andrea Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. Now, I said nice things about the other women's MMA fights. I'm not going to say about this fight. This fight... No. And as I was taping this fight... I was going through their fights. I was like, wait a minute. They fought before. And I was like, wait, y'all really fought before? Why are you fighting again? Yeah, they fought 5 years ago on the TKZ versus Moicano card. And it was a decision win for Andrea Lee. I'm now going to swap it to De La Rosa. Because since then, Andrea Lee is on a 4-fight losing streak. But don't worry, De La Rosa is only on a 3-fight losing streak. So, this was a absolute must-have needed fight. We absolutely needed to watch these two rematch. What are we doing, UFC? Like, this is the bad matchmaking that makes people just not want to tune in, man. You cut these. This is a 14-fight card. We don't need 14 fights. And if we're going to have 14 fights, you better put on some good ones. Not this. And this is guaranteed a decision. I think the last time one of these ladies saw a finish was when Tatiana Suarez murdered De La Rosa. But give me De La Rosa by decision. Yuck. Charles Radke versus Carlos Prates. I want to pick against Radke because I don't like him, which is a bad thing to do. I think Prates, honestly, is going to be able to beat him. Prates is very, very dangerous in terms of striking. Radke, though, on the other hand, his submission game can be pretty sneaky. His grappling game can be pretty sneaky. But that's not right at all. But Carlos Prates hits like a goddamn hammer. Hits like a goddamn hammer. Having not seen a decision for 5 years, I believe. Yes, 5 years. All of his... well, it was 2 fights, I'm counting the Contender Series, have been knockouts, brutal knockouts. Radke he could definitely wear on him, hold him down, maybe even submit him or just hold him down for 3 rounds. But if this fight's standing or keeps standing, Carlos Prates is going to be able to knock out Radke, which I'd like, to be honest with you, but don't count out Radke. If we keep counting out Radke, he's going to say mean things about the crowd and stuff like that. Was he the one who dropped the F-bomb, and I mean the FA bomb on the... yeah, it was him on the Izzy card. Him and good old Manelkop. I don't like either fighter, to be honest with you. It's kind of douchey, but ignoring my dislike of them, Carlos Prates is going to be the better striker, and I think he's going to be able to knock out Radke, but I don't think it's a lock. I don't think it's a lock. I don't know how I feel about him at minus 238. I think that's okay odds, but I'd probably put a little bit closer. But yeah, that's just me. And I always say, I put this closer, I put this closer. I never say that. The only time I think I ever thought, yo, this fight is such bad odds, the odds should be like way wider, was the Almeida-Romanov fight. God, I'm happy I swapped Almeida to my lock of the night the second I saw weigh-ins. All right then, and now for the next fight is going to be Thiago Moises versus Ludwig Klein. I think it's Klein easy, is it not? Thiago Moises, despite being the same age, I feel like he's withered and worn. I said that about his last fight, but is it weird to think he fights like he's old. He's been run ragged on a lot of different fights, which is crazy to me, despite being, what, only 32? How old is this man again? Dude, he's 29. He's 29. He's like not even older than me, really. Like, he's a year older than me. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And then Ludwig Klein, on the other hand, I think Ludwig Klein's going to be able to beat him apart. Ludwig Klein, since going up to lightweight, has been really solid. I like. He was able to beat Ignacio Bahamondes, a guy who I was very high on. He was able to take out AJ Cunningham. He's pretty solid. Looking back, yes, he's been submitted by guys who it's questionable that he got submitted by. Aiden Lee, Nate the Train, as much as I love Nate the Train. But that was years ago. I think at lightweight he's really settled in, and Thiago Moises, yeah, he did really good against Islam Makhachev back in the day, but that's the highlights we got from him, to be honest with you. Other than that, he's gotten the crap kicked out of him a lot of fights. So yeah, give me Ludwig Klein. I think though it's gonna go a decision. And on to the main card. Miguel Baeza versus Punali Soriano. Fun fight. Horrible fight to bet. I'm not betting this fight. I'm not betting this fight. This is a scary fight to bet because Baeza sucks. You got knocked out by Andre Fialho. Nah, man. Nah. Yeah, he got knocked out by Chaos Williams. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Ponzinibbio. That was a decision, though. He's got wins over Takashi Sato, and I believe he beat Victor Reina in the Contender Series. I watched that many years ago. No. Fun fighter to watch, but not one to bet on. And then Soriano's not much better. Not much better. Granted, he's been beaten by the better guys. One of the guys fighting on... Was he not fighting? Yeah, he is fighting on the card right here. And yeah, he's fought better competition, lost to better competition, but I don't want to pick someone off, hey, who's lost to the better who's lost to the better guys. I want to base this off who's lost to who. And then another issue though is Baeza hasn't fought since 2022. Soriano, he hasn't fought for 6 months. Both not very active guys, but I'm gonna go with the guy who's slightly more active and lost to the better guys in Soriano. So not a fight I'm gonna bet, but definitely a fun fight. Next, Juliano Marquez versus Zachary Reese. I don't have much on this fight. Oh, by the way, for the next fight, however this fight goes, it's gonna end in violence. It's gonna end in violence. I guess Soriano TKO. Marquez and Reese. I'm leaning towards Marquez decision. I'm leaning towards him decision. He's never had a decision, but I just am not a fan of the people he's fought and lost to. Meanwhile, Reese, you got knocked out by Cody freaking Brundage. Beautiful slam knockout, but it kind of tells me the level you're at, unfortunately. It really kind of tells me the level that you are at. Julian Marquez is not much better, but yeah, I'm gonna lean towards indecision, but this is not a fight I like. Not a fight I like at all. Ooh, there we go. And then the next fight is Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Ah, man, Bruno Ferreira, he can crack. He can absolutely crack. But Stoltzfus is a very technical kickboxer. I don't know how this fight's going to go, to be honest with you. Stoltzfus, technical kickboxer, good grappling game. He can definitely submit Bruno Ferreira, but Bruno Ferreira is just a stocky and tough guy. I think it's going to be really hard for him to be able to get submitted by Stoltzfus. The Ruzi Boyev knockout is kind of sus, to be perfectly honest with you. It's very kind of sus. But other than that, Bruno Ferreira's looked really solid. Absolutely bludgeoned the hell out of RoboCop, which I didn't see coming, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm still shocked at to this very day. I don't know. I'm going to be going with Bruno Ferreira to get it done by KO. I don't know. Stoltzfus, he's only been KO'd once, right? Yes, he's only been KO'd once. Yeah, you know what? Give me Bruno Ferreira by KO, but this is going to be a hard fight, but fun fight. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Tucios. I discussed this fight before. I believe I had Rosas Jr. by submission. I'm actually going to be leaning to Rosas Jr. by decision now. I've already talked about this fight. The reason why I'm leaning towards decision now is because Ricky Tucios is just too tough to get submitted, man. I thought about it again. I'm like, this guy's not going to get submitted, man. He's not going to get finished, but I definitely think Rosas Jr. has the skill needed to beat him, but it's not a high confidence one. I wonder if the odds have changed. They're not here. Where are the odds? Give me the odds. Oh, there are the odds. Yeah, Rosas Jr. is still the same favorite he was back then. Well, back then, like it was a month or two ago. Regardless, yeah, give me Rosas Jr. by decision. I don't want to talk about that much more. Okay, and now to the co-main event of the evening. Dominic Reyes take on Dustin Jacoby. Reyes. For a guy who beat John Jones, and yes, that is a highway robbery. It is a highway robbery that's a unanimous decision. That fight being a unanimous decision is worse than Costa versus Strickland being a split decision, to be honest with you. Dominic Reyes, I think, should have won that fight. I don't know how he didn't. At least didn't get a split decision. Regardless, since then, what has Dominic Reyes done? Well, let's look at the sad history of Dominic Reyes. Got destroyed by Blachowicz, but that was peak Blachowicz. Blachowicz has never looked that good since that fight. He looked better in this fight than they did in the Izzy fight. And he killed the man. Then Yuri killed him. Yeah, he rocked Yuri, basically flash KO'd him, but Yuri killed him. And then he got killed by Ryan Spann. Yeah, we're done. It's been, what, 2 years since his last fight? He's been gone since 281. Nah. Dustin Jacoby, he's a pretty solid fighter overall. He's a pretty technical kickboxer. I could see him losing if it's straight kickboxing, but I don't know. I'm going to be going with Dustin Jacoby, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, just give me Jacoby. I'm going to go with TKO. I don't think Reyes has a chin, but who knows? USADA's gone. What happens if Reyes comes back with a hairline and a newfound chin? Like OSP and Aldo and all these other fighters this year. Hell, even Nico frickin' Price. How the hell did he not get knocked out by Alex Morono? But yeah, wherever the case is, yeah, Jacoby by knockout should be it. And then we're on to the main event of the evening. Jared Cannonier taking on Nasruddin Imavov. So, Jared Cannonier is going to be 40 years of age, 17 wins, 6 losses, 10 knockouts, 2 submissions, 5'11" in terms of height. That is the wrong height for Nasruddin Imavov, by the way. He is 6'3". It's going to be a 6'3", right? Yeah, 6'3". Switch stance for Cannonier. 77.5-inch reach. Advantage. A 55.31% significant strike accuracy. A plus 115 underdog. Did I read that right? Is he really an underdog? Wow, okay. I wrote this, I didn't realize that. But yes, he has significant wins over Marvin Vettori, Sean Strickland, Derek Brunson, and Kevin Gastelum. Something is wrong with my Imavov stat sheet. I did not put in the right stats for him. I'm looking at this. This is just all wrong, I think. This is all wrong. Hold on one second. Let me see what happened with my stat sheet. Excel can be a little bit of a punk sometimes. What happened to these values? Okay, well, let me read off his proper stats. Ignore what I have on the screen. I apologize. But his age is indeed going to be 29. He's going to be 29 years of age. He is 13-4. He has 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. Man, this is all wrong. What is this? These are his stats. What? Okay. He is 6'3" in terms of height. He's going to be orthodox stance. He does have reach. Yeah, he has a 75-inch reach disadvantage, so he does have a reach disadvantage. He is going to have a takedown average of 0.87, and he's going to have a significant strike accuracy of 57.84%. He is indeed going to be a favorite, but he is a minus 135 favorite. He has significant wins over Roman Dolidze, Joaquin Buckley, and Edmund Shabazian. Those are correct. Numbers, some improper numbers were input somewhere, and when I moved over to a spreadsheet, it did move over right. Enough about this. Let's discuss the fight. And not my failures. There's too many of those. I don't like Nasruddin Imavov. I'm gonna be clear with you. I'm not a fan of his style. He's really a decision guy. He's a little bit of a douchebag too. But the thing is his nickname is a sniper, and he acts like that. He really just doesn't go. He doesn't go for it. And because he didn't go for, like, the only time he goes for it, if he has a significant advantage over a fighter. But even then, like a guy like Buckley, he just decided to dance around and pick at him for 15 rounds. He was just picking at Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze should have died, honestly. He really almost finished him 1 point, and then for the rest of the fight, just kind of picked at him. Jared Cannonier can do that, to be honest with you. That's my problem with Jared Cannonier, is sometimes he can, like, fight slow. He really can. We saw it in the Adesanya fight. We saw it in the Strickland fight. But there are times where he will go and he will be violent and brutal, like in the Vettori fight and the Brunson fight. Even though Vettori, he didn't finish him, he absolutely like went for it. He absolutely tried to, and Vettori only survived because he has an unnatural chin. It's hard to say in this matchup. The age difference is getting me. I'm looking at the age difference. I'm like, I know I'm not a fan of Nasruddin Imavov, but that age difference is. I know Nasruddin Imavov's a slight favorite, but I think I want to lean with the underdog. I think I want to lean with Cannonier. If he could just focus on delivering his power shots and landing, which he can. He could swap stances and confuse Imavov. But one thing to mention, even though he's a switch stance fighter, he's not a true switch stance fighter. He does it to do it. But we saw that Marvin Vettori was able to exploit his switch stance, and he was able to get the better of him in the first round. But I do think Jared Cannonier overall can beat and batter Nasruddin Imavov if he really gets going with his offense. Imavov can just kind of like back up. Simple as that. You just need to constantly push forward and get him to back up the same way Sean Strickland did it to him. And yeah, I think Cannonier could do it. I think this fight's almost certainly going to be a decision though, which sucks. A 25-minute decision. These middleweight fights are just... Middleweight is just not a good division. I'm sorry. And like, I like a lot of the fighters in middleweight too, but it's just too many decisions, man. Too many decisions. That's why I like Dricus du Plessis. Doesn't really have decisions unless you're freaking Sean Strickland and you force a decision. But regardless, I think Cannonier will get it done, but I'm not super confident in it. I think it'll get done by decision. But yes, that has been UFC Louisville, Kentucky. I think this should be a decent card. I think overall, it won't have as good a fight as Islam Dustin Poirier as probably fight of the year. But the thing is, as a whole, ignoring the main event of that card, I think it will absolutely blow 302 out the water. It has some fun matchups. The women's MMA matchup should actually be some really good violence, to be honest with you. And the main event has a potential being good. It really does. And I think we're probably going to see a murder in the co-main event. So, once again, it's been your boy Gomi. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below of this card. And bye-bye.